The first one is obviously you need great processes. I'm a little bit biased there, but I think it goes without saying when you give clear processes, it gives clear expectations and outlines exactly what you want to be done. And systems driven businesses are always better businesses. So I don't need to harp on that one. The second one is this idea of team motivation. And I remember hearing someone once say, what's the best way to motivate your team? Can't remember who said the answer, but it always stuck with me. The question is, what's the best way to motivate the team? The answer is hire motivated people. You don't need to motivate people, hire people who are already motivated. And some of those key attributes, it's the same. What's the best way to keep your team accountable? Hire accountable people. What's the best way to find team members who follow process? Hire systems driven people. Like, you need to think about those qualities that you want and build that into your recruitment process and recruit for it up front. Some of those things are really, really hard to train. The next tip that I've got here is about great onboarding. You need to develop your onboarding. The longer I do this, the more that I realize how essential onboarding is. It's the way that you set the standard. It's the initial programming for your team. It's the way that you show this is your way of doing things. This will be the topic of my next training. I'm going to look at running one early next year around building world-class onboarding systems and building systems-driven thinking into it. Like, you want to program that in right up front. I know quite a few of you have read the systemology book, and I talk about the sheet, which was the system that my dad put into place for my brother and I, where we'd earn points and it would determine our pocket money. The big lesson I got from that is that there are two types of people. There are systems people and there are people who won't follow systems. And in life, you can't select your family, but in business, you can select your team members. So we know systems driven businesses are easier to run, more profitable, more valuable, and you get to choose. You might as well select systems driven people, and then you want to onboard them and recruit them and induct them with that thinking up front. In the interim, before that training comes out, inside System Hub, if you have it, you'll find underneath the training section, underneath getting started, we've loaded the systems thinking induction introduction, which is great for any team member to go through. You don't even need System Hub if you're not a System Hub user. There is the direct link to grab it just there. Take that video and embed it into your onboarding process. It mainly addresses the systems component, and there are other things that need to be included in onboarding, but I think the systems component is key. The two final tips I've got, the first one is around this idea of asynchronous communication. As your team grows, it's very easy to kill a huge amount of time with meetings. The bigger the team grows, the more meetings you have. Meetings, and they're very costly because it's team members' times as they're sitting there on those calls, and some of them don't even need to be there. So firstly, obviously, you want to try and streamline where you can, but relying more on asynchronous communication the bigger you get. Use your project management tools. Record videos and audio so people can listen to things in two speed and get to it when it's relevant for them rather than kind of breaking up their day. You need to be ruthless with the way that you run meetings. You need to have, figure out who needs to be there, who's essential, have an agenda, and then stick to that time. That's something that we're working on and we need to get better at. The last one I've got here is around just team engagement. You need to think about with virtual teams how to keep them engaged. I feel like all of our guests gave some really good tips. James Brown in particular shared some really good insights on keeping those team members engaged. Regular communications, you had the screen where virtual team members could chat with on location team members, but you want to do things like recognition of achievements. We have a monthly MVP, most valued player, where we do shout outs and we congratulate team members that have done a great job. We share our vision for the company and what we're here to do and the mission that we're working on to try and all bond us together as we work on the same mission. We're transparent, and where we can, we have as much in the open as possible, whether that's in a Asana or in Slack. We try and have a very flat hierarchy so that, there's not levels here, there's just team, and we're all great at what we do and we get down to doing our work. I hope you enjoyed that clip. Just a heads up, it was a snippet taken from the Business Systems Accelerator program, which is the world's first training for systems champions to help you build a systems-driven organization. If you'd like to find out more about the program, head over to systemology.com/BSA, and I'll see you in the next video.